So we're going to deal with NLS. Let's have got BW on HANA system with IQ. Let's say I've got SAP IQ, which is a database. And I've configured this as the NLS source. You can understand this as a secondary database for my BW. Let's say I have a DSO or a queue. Let's say I have a DSO. Let's say this is holding 10 years of data in it. So if I hold 10 years of data in it, it has been occupied into HANA database. HANA is an in-memory database. We don't want to occupy much space in it. So what I'll do, the current year and the previous year, which is more frequently used for reporting, I'll try to hold it in the HANA system. In the remaining 8 years of data, I'll try to push into NLS, which is into IQ. And when the reporting is done, obviously it reads from IQ as well as your BW on HANA system also. So with this, we are reducing the space what is required or what is consumed in HANA database. That's the major focus on it. It's not that I can use IQ, I can use DB to others, but when you use IQ, since even this supports columnar database, like similar to HANA, SAP IQ also supports columnar storage of database. That's why when I use IQ as the NLS solution, that would have high performance because your underlying table of DSO in HANA is a column store, and even in the NLS table in IQ is also going to be a column store. So that's where both are going to be a column store and giving you high performance here. Yeah. Now let's see this. What I've done is I've already installed Sybase IQ here. This is a database. So this is where I've installed my Sybase database, Sybase IQ database. So I've installed my Sybase IQ database, and we have some IQ demo database. I can show you. I can just connect to that through. We have different tools. Connect. I use Interactive SQL to connect to the database. I think there is a table. There are already some tables. I'm just trying to run this and see whether there is already some data in this or not. So there's already database created. And what I've done is in the BW system, I already created database connection to this IQ database which is running in that system. I just gave the connection name and said IQ and then Sybase it is, username, password, and then I've given a connection string, and then I've connected it. Yeah. Then we can test this. You can use this ADBC test connection. So it's able to open the connection and close it. So the connection is fine. Once I have the database connection to IQ, we go to the administration and we do the settings for endless here, nearline storage connections. Just give some name of connection, and then I'm going to use this DB connect, which I just created here. So the connection is all fine. Just save it. Now here I'm going to specify this class here, which is used for IQ. I can use it for DB6, DB2, Emacs DB, but I'm leveraging IQ here. Yeah. So like this, I already have the connection created. Okay. Let me create a DSO. So I've done the loading. I'm just activating this request. If you see the data, I've got Cal here. I've got 12, 13, 14, and I've got 15. I've got 4 years of data. Yeah. I would like to hold 2015 into this, and 12, 13, 14 I would like to push into NLS because that is historical years. Yeah. How do I archive this particular DSO? Right click, create the data archiving process. This is not AD character, this is NLS archiving, and choose NLS connection as this. This will tell you whether the connection is all fine or not. Okay. Just give some description. And I would like to do partition this on the year and then selective. I would like to push data from this DSO to the NLS, selective on the year wise. So this can work out as primary partitioning, so it takes year. Okay, choose other groups. Okay, fine. But I'm okay with that. Just say activate. So once we have created this data archiving process, you should see the symbol that this has been enabled for archiving. Yeah. Now get to the manage of this DSO. Then you see this tab, archiving tab here. Here would create this archiving request. We click on create. So I would like to push 2012. See, it says the 70 deletion phase confirmed and request complete. So once the data is moved to NLS, the data will be deleted in your DSO. Okay. Start. So it's completed. Now it's just calendar year 2012 and number of records being pushed into NLS is 3. Now once that is done, that's it. If you just get into this DSO, you will not see any data for 2012. 13, 14 and then 15. No, there's no 12. Now 12 has been pushed into your NLS. So now we should be able to see the data in NLS, right? So if you get to the display of this NLS storage, you see this nearline object. Okay? Just another table name. Within BW, we can monitor this. Run this program. Yeah, we can see the contents. First, let's get the table name. For this nearline object, this is my table, ON and the table name. Yeah. Now go to the IQ. See, now when I look at this table data in our IQ, I can see this, the 3 orders and of year 2012 in it. Yeah. Same way, if I archive this again, now let's say this time I would like to archive 2013. It's failed. You go to logs, it is failed because I think it has reached max corrections. So it says the table is locked. So when it just fails in, set it to invalid. I can archive it again. Now it's done. Again, the 10 records have been pushed of 2013. If you go to NLS, run this, I should see those 13 records. 607 was an old request, 611 is a new one, 2012, and these are 2013. Okay. Okay. Now when I do reporting on this, now first forget about reporting. Now, okay, let's do reporting. Now when I do reporting on this DSO, will I be able to read the data from NLS also? That's the point. Now look at this. It is showing, let me remove this order. It is showing data for 14 and 15. Now it's not showing data for 12 and 13, which is in NLS, right? So how do you set the query property so that it does read from NLS also? Just get to query properties. If you go to extended, you see a property called nearline storage. Just do not read, drop down, say read NLS. Now it will start reading even 12, 13, 14, 15 also. So you get to see data for 12, 13, 14 and 15 also. But if I want to make it dynamic also, I can make it. I can make it as a variable entry. Create that variable. Now when you run the variable, it will ask you whether you want to read from NLS or not. You can fill this with customer exit if required. If I say 0, does not read anything. So can I control this with customer exit first? With I step 2, depending on the year what he selects, you can choose whether it has to read from NLS or not. Okay, that is one. Now while loading it to data mart, let me create another DSO. Now I'm trying to load data from the DSO to the next level target. See, I'm loading from ZDNLS, so ZDMNLS, but ZDNLS has been archived. Yeah. If I just do normal loading, it does not read anything from the archive. Yeah. If you go to the DTP, if you drop down, active table without archive. If I do this way, let me do full so that I can do multiple times. If I say active table without archive, it will only load the data what is not archived. That is 2014 and 15. See, only 36. But if I say active table with archive, it will extract the data from the DSO as well as sorry. Yeah, there are only 36. No, it's not getting refreshed, but we use this option to read data from NLS also, archive data. Okay. When it's activity with archive, it also reads archive data. And next is in the query properties, you can see the runtime of the query. Let me read from NLS and then sorry. When you go to display statistics font, now here if you look at this, this is the time it is used to read from the data provider, and when you see N, this is the time it is used for reading from NLS. Okay, you can see the split of the timing from NLS and from your provider here. And this archiving part can be scheduled. Okay, one more thing. One is like reload. Say I have archived here for 2012 and 13. So if I look at my DSO, I see only data for 14 and 15. Yeah. So now I would like to reload the data for 2013 back to with BW system from NLS. Just click on this. You can say reload. I don't want subsequent, only this one here. So now it says 10 records, now it says -10. Yeah? It brings those data back. I get to see data for 2030. Like this, you can even reload back from NLS to provider. Yeah? So this is important. Let's say I have a DSO where it is archived, and you're trying to do some changes to the structure of the DSO. So you must reload all the data back to the provider, then change your structure, then archive it back again. Without reloading, if you change the structure, you will get into problems. You'll not be able to archive any further. And then this archiving process is not a one-time job. You can, it's a background job, right? You can use it. You'll have process type in the process chain which can archive it. Archive data from an info provider. I put for 2014. That's it. That has been archived. I should see 2014 data in general. You see 2012 and 14 also. Okay. So like this, you can schedule that with process chain, and within BW, if you want to monitor, this is a program asset, RSDRA. For monitoring, we can use this program. See, not accept many connections. So there's some limited connections it accepts.
Sir, can I ask a question?
One second, I'm almost done.
Okay.
So we use this program for monitoring the partitions or the tables what is created in NLS. So this is my NLS. It's the 32. If you just get in, there's one partition on the request number 607, 3 records, 611, 10 records, 617, 29, and this is set as because I've deleted this data. I've reloaded, right? So it's set as deletion. Okay. So I've just given an Excel sheet. I've sent this document already. A screenshot. How do we create a archiving process? Then how you schedule it? How you run it? Yeah. If it's multiple characteristics, how you do DTP? How do you schedule with archiving, without archiving? How do we reload or restore back? And how can do that? How can you schedule the same thing with process chain? And how do we see the query runtimes with NLS and without NLS? Yeah. Now you can ask your question. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So if you have archived until 2015
Mm-hmm.
and you are only having 2016 your DSO,
Okay.
and for example, if a new record comes with 2015, does it automatically gets archived?
No, that is that and point to be noted. You will only archive the data which is for which the new data is not accepted or expected. That's why I'm archiving only the old data, because if you get the your archived data for 2014, let's say new transaction comes again on 2014, it will not overwrite, right? It will add up as a new record. So you'll have some inconsistency with the data. Yeah. One.
And the lookup part, sir, if there are lookups on data, will they work on archive data also, or will they not get?
No, they'll not work out. No.
Okay.
Because generally archiving is done on the topmost providers where it is used for reporting. So if you're using that in the lookups, so not to do this, because you'll not have this data physically in your interactive tables. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Okay. Boss. So this is about NLS. Yeah. Hmm. Next, I want to discuss on the interview point of view. Okay. So how do we handle this? See, was clearing interview and getting the job is the most easiest thing. Okay. Can we use BODS instead of DB correct? No. If we use BODS, how will that get read? No. Because how will that read again during reporting? No. Okay. Now, so how do we handle the interviews now? So preferably, I'm looking at, say there are some people who are say BW with and your project HANA experience along with that, and you'd have some people with BO and some HANA experience. So without BW, okay. So there could be case this way, there could be some case this way, or there could be some case just as HANA. Anyway, right? Good. So if you're a BW consultant, you want to project more on BW with HANA knowledge, you would project as if you worked on DB migration. Your focus would be on DB migration, and modeling, composite providers. And advanced DSO, don't say work done, just say you have knowledge on advanced DSO. So this is what you will have to project. And if they ask you worked on anything BO, you can just project on Design Studio. This is what you'll have to project if you're from BW background and you want to project this way. Yeah. BO on HANA and then normal HANA. So then you would say this way. You'll project on modeling, data provisioning, reporting. If you are comfortable with the HANA native development video, what I've given, you can refer as OData services and some part of SAP UI5, or the HTML5 applications. So modeling, provisioning, reporting. This is what you will project as a HANA modeler or HANA developer. And within the data provisioning, I would prefer saying you worked on SLT, BODS. Don't say DXC, because if you use DXC, it involves SAP applications. It involves SAP applications. So DXC will make sense more for people from BW HANA background who understands the SAP applications. Yeah? And here for BW HANA, you can also project about data provisioning. You should say you have leveraged this along with BW ETL, means BW extraction and provisioning both. Say SLT, BODS. Okay. This should be your part. So generally any interview, they would generally ask you, okay, you worked on HANA. So basically if the profile is selected just purely on HANA job, then let's say you worked on HANA. So what is that you worked on? So depending on your profile, depending on what you've been focusing on, you project this person. And in both the case, scripting will be an added advantage always. Your project here, both, yeah. So this is what you would say, okay. So as part of HANA experience, you would say I was involved in implementing scripting using stored procedures or calculation with scripting based, and involved in modeling or migrations or explicitly on composite providers with BW on HANA, and Design Studio reporting and the ETL part. This is what your project was. Okay, boss? Then you would start getting, that's how the introduction happens, and then the next would be on then it starts getting into each of this, okay? Modeling, yeah. So now when I say modeling, so even if you search for questions, majorly they would say, what kind of HANA models do we have? So what is it? You'd say attribute view, analytical view, and calculation view. So in calculation view, can I create scripting based calculation view? You say yes. Okay, good. Now, so they might ask you what is attribute view, what is analytical view, and what is calculation view. They would expect an overview on each of the view, what is what. So next, the questioning could be on what is the difference between input parameter and variables. Yeah. And then what are the different kind? So what is input parameter? Will basically parameterize view. but variables are just used for filtering. After the view is executed, it applies the filters. So then the question is, would you prefer input parameter or variable bus? I would say I would prefer input parameter, yeah, because it improves my performance. Let's say I would like to filter on some country. While reading data from the table itself, I can apply my input parameter. If not, if I use variable after the execution of the view, then the filter is applied. Yeah, that's how you got explained. The next they would ask you on so, yeah, in you worked on calculation views, yes. Then they would say, what are the different kind of operations do we have in the calculation? So we have aggregation, projection, join, union, yeah, and then rank operations. Okay. Then they would ask, okay, they'll ask you what is the difference between aggregation and projection and join and union. Then there would be a discussion on then from here, from these functions, if it's really strong, you get into SQL window functions first. You remember what Windows functions? Rank, dense rank, yeah. Where you want to partition the data, then execute a function, then you go with window function, partition by, order by, yeah. Lead function, lag functions. So those are very important. Next, there's a question. They're saying can we create scripting based calculation? Then you say yes. Then there can be two cases. You might ask you what was the scenario used for scripting based calculation view, or you would say when you're implementing the scripting based calculation view, what is the temporary table by default you would have there. Remember, while writing scripting based calculation view, what is the default table name to which you assign the result of us? Any idea? Var underscore out. Excellent. Yes. Yeah. And then if they ask you the scenario, then I would prefer doing simulate this concept of I step. When I say I step two, let's say we had a calculation view which had some 5 to 6 input parameters. But out of this 5 to 6, there's only one was supposed to be given by the user. I had to derive all the remaining based on this value what user gives it. So then we created a scripting based calculation view where I take it from with single input parameter, and based on this parameter in the scripting I derive all the other 5. Then from there, by using the placeholder, I would call this calculation. So that was the scenario we use scripting based calculation. Okay, boss. And you can also give a scenario like there was a case where we wanted to do cumulative calculations, cumulative operations. Then we still went with scripting based calculation. Okay. Then the discussion gets into, so what then the discussion gets into HANA Live. Yeah. So do you worked on HANA Live? Says HANA Live is nothing but the ready-made views what is being delivered. So to answer this, or what I would suggest is, would say yes, we worked on HANA Live, and even for people who want to work say some real-time scenarios. So this is what you have to do now. See, with all this, you know the concepts. Now the question could be, what was a real-time example where you worked on? Okay. SAP. So you should plan. Say in the interviews, you would project as if you worked on sales or finance or which model it is. So based on that, if you want to go with sales, mhm, so take care of all the sales query views. Wherever you see as query, these are my query views. Now just take some. If you really don't want to miss any interview, just take some 2 3 views from each of this model: sales, purchasing, inventory, all this. Just get into each of this and make a complete study of this view. Just keep drilling into all the views what is being made in this. Yeah, just get in, do a complete deep study and make a document. Just make a documentation for yourself and see what tables have been used, what is it they're getting from each of these tables, and what is being used for joining. Then what data are they getting in? So you should make your own document. So they're using some unit of measure conversions. This has to be done. So at least for 2 3 views in each module, sales, all this. So with this, you'll be able to answer what was the source tables you have used, what was the logics or joins you've done, and what tables was used. So this will help you to answer those real-time questions for you. Yeah. What is the path for this queries? No. You'll have SAP, HBA, and then you see this ECC or CRM. You can, that's analyze. Yeah. So this depends on how much hard work you put in. You have to explore your, open the view. This is a main, like query would be the main views. The schedule and reporting. So you already pretty much, if you worked on BW, you know some tables. So you just drill in. So this is where you get to see, you get more knowledge on the data dictionary completely. Which table holds what information? Yeah. This you have to do. Okay. Then SQL, you have to be really stuck. Basically, it's about, see, don't worry about all. Like, select, insert, update, delete, truncate, load, unload, delta merging. Try to focus on this one. And still, there is some, in some interviews, there is discussion on column store table about main, delta, how it helps you, how it handles the performance and all those stuff. Yeah. But no one is interested in knowing how to alter a table. This is the main data manipulations which we generally use it a lot. Maybe may ask you about stored procedure syntax, because there are some interviews where they're asking them to write on the board. Stored procedures syntax. So I think pretty much if you can cover these two, you handle and they ask you the engines. Yeah. So for each of the view, what engine is leveraged? So for attribute, it will be join engine. For analytical, it will be OLAP engine. For calculation, it will be uh, calculation engine. So then they ask you, when I use analytical view into calculation view, then what engines are used? Will it use both OLAP as well as calculation or calculation? So when you include analytical view into calculation view, all definitions of analytical view is put into calculation view. So everything gets executed with calculation view only. Yeah? And then very important about joins. They'll discuss on compulsory, referential, and versus inner. Okay, referential and inner join. So in case of referential, the join is executed only with OLAP engine, and when the join is performed, it performs an inner join. And join is also executed only when the data is read from both the tables. If you just read only from the left table, there is no join executed. Yeah, it's very important. Then pretty much this is the what they might deal with modeling was. Yeah. Mhm. And then variables and input parameters, and they'll raise a discussion on sysbic and time generation. Okay, then calc view to scripting. Can I convert graphical calculation into scripting based? Yes, from scripting to graphical also. Either ways. Okay. Mm, this is what pretty much on modeling. They would ask you about join types and data foundation, semantics, and some stuff. But those are okay. Then the major discussion goes on the SLT. Worked on SLT, yes, but tell them clearly SLT was not leveraged to replicate all data in all the cases. Tell them we had used SLT to replicate data in only cases where it was expected to have the data in the real time only. For all others, we just, if it is BW on HANA, you can say we use BW extraction mechanisms. If it is you want to project a project without BW, then say we have used BODS to replicate. But if only in the case where we wanted to have real-time replication of data, then you will say SLT. Yeah? Then they'll ask you about load, unload, stop, replicate, suspend, resume, all this. But they would not. But when they say you know what configuration, just say you know configuration, but don't tell them you've done this, because in the LTR the configuration is generally done by the basis. And main thing on the LTRC and configuration, all the transformations LTRS, or if it is latest, if it is old, IUC underscore REPL underscore content. This is very important. So can I use ABAP programs to do transformations? Yes. So if you want, you can include the line of code there, which is of max 72 length, or you can create and include programs. Remember that. I think pretty much is fine. Mm, then they might expect? What are the tables which it replicates by default? Remember DD02 LN, DD02 T, DD08. Uh, then they would ask you what are the standard tables in the SLT schema. You remember about RS order, RS log. RS order is the important one. You should know this. Okay. That's about. So can SLT, through using SLT, can we replicate data from a non-SAP and non-SAP both? Yes. And when it comes to BODs, if you really strong, see, I've sent you the document also. If you want to really project BODs, you can project. If not, you can say, I was an HANA consultant coordinating with the BODS. I was an HANA consultant. Majorly, I was interacting with the BODs, but I have knowledge on BODs, and you can just project about all this. I think in yesterday's, I've sent you this document. It's complete cookbook on BODs. If you can go through this and make sure you do this, I think you're pretty much strong. You can handle anything from this. Okay. But if you want, but don't waste time in trying to become an expert and then you're not earning any do. No, you can just keep this saying. See, they don't. You're not expected to be strong in everything. Okay. You can just say, I'm just coordinate with the BODS consultant and I understand their vocabulary. Then that's enough. Yeah. But if you want to say yes, I have some knowledge, and then project it and then do that. That's it. Yeah. And then reporting part, try to focus on this Design Studio. Majorly on Design Studio. So when you see worked on Design Studio, they say yes, that's all. There's nothing to ask you on that. There's nothing much to ask you on the Design Studio or WebB or whatever it is. So majorly they'll test you more on scripting and modeling because there's nothing much ask you on the reporting side or the ETL part. Yeah? Majority of the time it will be majorly on modeling and scripting. So if you can really plan well, I think you can break any interview bus. Okay. Any interview you can break. Okay. Yeah. Then resumes, I'll basically send it out. See, but knowing this is what expected. You can basically have your own points saying I was involved in creating my models for calculation with scripting based and graphical based analytical views, attribute views. You can say involved in implementing complex scripting with stored procedures. Yeah, involved in creating reports, involved in setting up the SLT, involved in building up the BODS data flow jobs, triggering to load into HANA. That's how you have to get in. But okay, and then I was part of HANA DB migration for BW, then optimizations. So you can go that way. So depending on how you want to project HANA Live, do we have any scenario based on this? Yeah, there was a project we did like this. We had BW, HANA. There was ECC, and then we replicated all the tables from ECC to HANA, then implemented HANA Live here because general HANA Live requires the ECC tables. If it is HANA Live for ECC, it would require ECC tables. So we replicated those tables into HANA, then implemented HANA Live in HANA database of BW, and we expose this for reporting. In any interview, they will ask like, what are the thought situations you faced in your project and how did you handle? This see the and one general type of question you get is like this very frequent. What is HANA and how do you propose a customer to implement? So they can go in different ways, right? It can go as a enterprise HANA or BW or HANA or ECC or HANA. So this is where the question: what? How do you provide a solution to the customers to implement HANA? Generally, in the manager in the second round or something, you face these kind of questions. But this is very important because at least you should have an idea. Remember, in the initial classes, I explained to you if there's a customer who's got BW, see, SAP is going in this way. If it's a small customer, he wants to implement data warehousing, then it will be BODS, IQ, BO for reporting. Yeah. If it is with real-time reporting and they want to have in-memory solution, then they go with BODS, HANA, then BO reporting. Or if the data is really huge and they want to build, if they already have BW and they want to use a leverage, then it will be BW or HANA. And then do reporting with BO. It will be like this. This is what you got for. So huge data, then you can go with these two options. If it's small data, then they can go with this option. Okay? That's what you got to project in. Or you can also project as, so if there's a single customer only with ECC and doesn't want to, then you need not go to this. You can just go with, you can have ECC application running on HANA database and leverage HANA Live within the ECC system and then do reporting. You also do this way. You can say you'll have ECC application running with HANA. So my customer has got only ECC, nothing else. So yeah, I migrate this ECC to HANA. Then all my ECC tables will be in the underlying HANA. So I set up HANA Live. So based on user requirements, we had created a copy of those ready-made views and changed it a little bit. And then we did reporting on this without BW. We were reporting on HANA Live. So this also could be one kind of project you can project in. If you're projecting a simple customer, so this could be a solution where ECC power it with HANA, then you leverage HANA Live onto it, then do reporting on top of it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. One question. So,
This is
uh,
yeah.
so basically, many people talk about what is native HANA, right? So as far as you told us what is native HANA, if you are using the native framework
Yeah.
of a front-end, a service, and a database, then it is native HANA, and whatever you use in UI5 or OData, it's all native HANA. But when we are doing modeling with views,
Yeah.
is that not called as a native HANA development?
Then they refer it as enterprise HANA because modeling can be done in native HANA as well as this also, but generally they use this terminology as enterprise HANA.
Okay.
But still in the market, because when you get calls from the companies, yeah,
Yeah.
who's calling you for the clarification? HR team is calling you. They don't know what is BW on HANA. They don't know what is native HANA. They don't know what is enterprise HANA. Okay.
Right.
You should say yes, yes for everything what they ask. Then deal with the
Uh,
technical person. That's all.
okay. It's for my clarification,
Yeah,
sir. I'm
I
asking
understand, but
on hello.
I face this problem because when I
Yeah.
when I get some call from HR, I used to take them 1 hour session to them because they say,
Okay.
"Do you know HANA?" Then I used to tell them, "What part of HANA do you want? Do you want HANA administration or do you want HANA modder? Do you want HANA development or native development? Which one do you want?" No, we want HANA this. Then I explain them what is all this. Then ask them what do you want.
Okay.
Instead of doing that, you just say HANA to yes HANA. Then we can deal with the interview technical person. He understands it, right? So that's better.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Okay.
remember about schema mapping, yeah, delivery units, HANA native transports, transport containers. Mm, and then what else? And HANA is small. It's not so vast topic like BW. This is you can handle it easily. And column store, row store, views, procedures. That's fine. Yeah. Mhm. There,
Data reconciliation, how we are doing? I mean, if you are different source systems, how you are validating if any record is missing?
in HANA, you mean?
Reconciliation.
Adenappa. What is the case? Do you have BW on HANA or normal HANA? What is it?
SAP ECC
Uh-huh.
and non-SAP.
SAP ECC is your source.
Yes, and non-SAP also.
And you're loading it.
Two source.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Non-SAP.
Okay.
And loading to HANA.
Okay.
On top of we are doing reporting.
Okay.
So they are asking some of the information from ECC is matching. Some of the information from non-ECP we are getting not matching with the source system which is there in non-SAP.
Okay.
So how we need to rectify that?
See, there's no automatic procedure to do that.
Okay.
What really automate that? One way is like you can refer this non-SAP table in HANA through Smart Data Access as a virtual table.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a physical table which is loaded in HANA. You can have physical table and you can have virtual table and create a view on this or a report on this which will say value from virtual table, value from physical table. So both these two values should match. Then you will say the report is correct. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sir,
Yeah.
what if I have a database? I mean, the source is DB2, and I am trying to use HANA on top of it and do reporting.
Mm-hmm. So then from DB2 you'll be basically using BODS and loading into HANA. Then you'll be doing reporting on BO. Yeah. Because logically I'm telling you, say, either other question, say, he's got DB2 system, okay, with all the data. Now I would like to implement a data warehousing on this, yeah. And you say DB2 has got huge data, okay.
Yes.
Good boss, very, very important. How do we do solutioning? Now, there are three options. One is, can you go with just BW, BW on HANA, or just core HANA or IQ? I can go with either of the solutions, right? Now, the customer says the data is huge, okay. In system, the data is huge. So then I will not prefer IQ when the data is really huge, okay. So options would be either BW or HANA or BW or HANA. Then even if I use BW in this case, because BW is rich in business content, and that makes sense when you're using SAP as a source. But here, since my source is DB2, which will be normal tables, so I will not be able to leverage the standard content of BW. Then there's no point in going to BW. Then I'll say, let's implement core HANA, okay, as a database, and on top of it, we'll go with BO report. This will be your solution. Okay, boss? If they say why they are not using BW, then there's no point in setting up BW, because when I'm not using business content, and
Yeah.
so I can just use HANA in this case. Yeah.
Yeah. If this is the case, and if I want to extract real-time data on top of that, I can use SLT also.
Exactly. I can use as a middleware. I can use SLT in case of real-time data required. BODS in batch mode.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it is flat file, so then it is as usual that.
Yeah. Flat file also can be extracted through BODS, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. See, so basically now so when you handle the real time cases, interview, when you say I want to have some real time scenarios, if you take the source as ECC, okay, and you take some application from its SD or MM or PP, if you really don't know those tables, you're caught. Okay, let's say you say you have done modeling on SD application, then straight away I put a question saying, what other tables did you use? Okay, if you're able to list, if you already planned this HANA live, and if you practiced, as I told you about 2-3 views, if you already made a study on it, you'll be able to list out the tables. Until you say stop, you can start listing in all the tables, VBAC, VBU, BAK, N1, LFA, all this one. So to come out of this risk, okay, I would suggest preferably say work with non-SAP. So when I immediately start saying non-SAP, say work with non-SAP, you can choose any application you're comfortable, sales or MM or whatever it is. So immediately as soon as I say non-SAP, will you ask me what tables did you use? Look at the logic first. Will you ask me what are the tables? So I'm telling, this is a simple way of handling the real-time questions, okay? If you say my source is non-SAP, immediately you're out of that question saying what tables did you use. That is where you have to play first, okay? So even if I ask you what was the currency conversion table, you can say నీకు మైండ్కి ఏది వస్తే అది చెప్పొచ్చు. ZY CUR_T_I120. Will there be some problem? No, right? But if you say SAP, you have to be on dot check TCUR C, TCUR F. So people who are not from a real-time background, but if you really want to project that you're a real-time, this is the case, easy case to handle. Say a non-SAP data, HANA, and then BO report. Getting this, what I'm saying? So you don't have to worry about scenarios or plan things. Just if it's ECC, then be comfortable on this HANA Live. If you don't want to really waste time on this, because there's no point. If you, with this you understand modeling, but if tomorrow if there's new tables, then you've got to redo the entire logic. So preferably say non-SAP, then don't waste time in mugging up all the table names. Be with the concept, be with this, then you're easy to handle break any interviews. That's the way you should handle. Okay?
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, I just have one generic question. For example, if a guy belongs to some telecommunication or banking or
Yeah.
will that be any? I mean,
Advantage, right? You project that saying you say my source is DB2, SLT, BODS, HANA, and then you do a BO reporting. Then they ask the next, say, extreme case you should think on. What reports did you develop? Yeah. So from a telecom background, you know what kind of reports they expect. You list out those tables. Then they say, how was this report delivered? We had so-and-so tables. This was what modeling we have done. This report, we plan like that. So plan some 5 to 6 reports. Plan what tables have been leveraged, what modeling was done on those tables, and how these reports were delivered. That's all. From end to end, yeah.
Okay, so I mean, what I'm asking is, for example, if I'm going for an interview, I'm a banking guy.
Yeah.
The other guy who interviews me belongs to some kind of insurance or telecommunication or some retail or something else.
Yeah.
That they expect me to focus
No.
on
In that case, as soon as you say telecommunications, he'll not ask you any questions on functional. He'll start asking you questions technically only. Those are rare domains, telecom, insurance. When you say you are coming from those domains, immediately he'll start asking you technically. He'll not touch anything on the functional part.
Okay. So that will not be, I mean, disadvantage, right?
No, that is an advantage for you. Because you know some domain which no one knows, so it is an advantage.
Narayana, please be loud.
Yeah.
So I think with this you could handle any interview bus very easily. Okay, nothing much in. Anyone attended any interviews already?
Okay, sir. Are there any reports available?
Are there?
Which we can look into? Are there any reports available already in the system which we can look into?
You will not have the reports, but I can help you in this. If you go to, so if you're from non-SAP background, if you really want to know the reports, just get into this technology platform. Yeah? You get into BW part of it. Click on NetViewer here and say BI content. Just get into any of this and click on English. And then you get into BI content. Expand this. And then choose, there will be something ERP central component. You choose your functional area. SRM or CRM or something. Let me just. And for BW HANA, just BW or HANA, just go through this HANA optimized BI content. If you just get into ERP central component, the logistics or HR, finance, which one do you? The logistics, if you want to get into some manufacturing or order fulfillment, inventory management, or sales. There is something with queries. See, there are a lot of queries. Each of them are reports. Get billing documents, like one kind of a report. See, just just take what KPIs are there, like knowing number of invoiced items, invoiced quantities, net sale of the invoice. This is what you got to pick up. Just the list of some queries or reports. Huh? Okay, boss.
And okay, sir, how can we project this HANA into our resume? Is because we have not worked on HANA and we have to project that we have worked.
So that's what I was telling you, right? How do
No,
you
that is okay for the interview.
means like
That is okay from the interview point of view. I'm asking how to just present it in the resume.
means like what should be the points, huh?
Huh? I mean, okay, say for example, I'm holding experience of 5 years.
Okay.
So is it like I'm working in ABAP?
Mm-hmm.
So is it like I can say that I have worked in ABAP for 3 years and HANA for 2 years,
Yeah, that's okay.
or I was moved internally into into HANA project?
Yeah, you should say like this. You got so you're from ABAP with background, right? So then you say 3 years ABAP and then 2 years HANA. Then you should project as if since you've been working on ABAP and you have more knowledge on the data dictionary of ECC, they have considered
Huh?
me into this HANA project, and from there I picked on to HANA. That's what you got to project. Yeah. Then when you're projecting that case, you have to be really strong with the ECC DDIC, data dictionary. Okay.
Okay.
So then you got to focus more on the list of the tables. You got to speak more on the tables then. Okay.
Okay.
So then, so you will say, as since I've been an ABAPer and I understand more on the data dictionary from ECC, I had an opportunity to be put onto HANA projects, and then that's where I started my career onto HANA from 2 years back. And basically, I dealt with sales and finance models, and that's it. Then they start asking if I'm interviewing you when you project this. I would ask you, okay, just list me what tables did you use in HANA model from ECC.
Hmm.
Then you should to justify this point that you worked 3 years on ABAP and you're really strong on the DPIC part. You should be able to list me out tables until I stop you.
Okay.
Yeah. Then from once
Okay.
you
So
ask
I
me
need.
that questions, I'm confirmed that you are true on you are an ABAPer and you're strong at the table level. You know what tables are there, which information is stored in what tables. Yeah.
Okay.
See, because modeling is very easy, drag and drop all this. But modeling becomes difficult when you don't understand the data.
Until unless we are not comfortable with the tables, we will not be able
Exactly.
to take it
And,
up.
and that is the advantage you have now. When you say you're an ABAPer and you have an ECQ data dictionary knowledge, you
Hmm.
know the tables, VBAC, say if it says sales, you say VBAC, VBUK, VBEP, VBUK, LIPS, LIKP, VBRK, VBRP, yeah, and
Okay.
then KNA1, MARA, MARD, MARC. So you got to get those tables list. So that makes, so when you know the table and you know which table holds what information, like say selling price of an article A901 and yeah. So this could be one simple scenario, like I want to get the selling price of an article, so we read modeling. So we use A901 and KONP table. A901 will give me for an article on the sales org, which gives me the pricing condition.
So you're not audible.
Yeah, from A901 table, I can pick up. Now, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
So I've got A901 from this from a sales org specific for an article. It does give me the pricing condition. I go to KONP table and get the pricing from here. So this could be one scenario for modeling a selling price of an article. I would like to have a purchasing price, say not specific. I want to see the purchasing price which is specific to vendor material. Let's say A081 and I join this with KONP and get those details of vendor specific material pricing. Yeah, this is what you have to start planning. That should help you out. If you're projecting as a ABAPer, this is what it comes in. Okay, this is one.
And basically, while preparing the resume, is that I need to focus more and more on HANA and get reduced on this ABAP side.
Project more 2 years project on HANA, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, within these 2 years, project more on HANA itself, HANA modeling and provisioning all this.
Okay. Got it.
Sir, SLT is using real time. So if you are using,
As an ABAP, you should also project on this ABAP managed database procedure.
Sorry, did not get you, sir.
ABAP managed database procedures.
Okay.
You remember other day I showed you something on the class and creating a method of HDB procedure. Remember?
Yes.
You got to project that. Where can I get the rapid marts for HANA? Rapid marts. I am using SP in 96 revision. Others, I'm using 96 revision. Now, if they ask, don't get into 96. Just get into, just be with SP7 or SP8. Don't get still not in SP7 or SP8. If they ask you which version of HANA, don't get to 9 and 10. Still, customers are not gone to that level. It's still a 7 and 8. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So one second, I have this question. This ABAP managed database procedure, is it related to that stored procedures which
Yeah,
we
yeah.
are creating, or in this
Now we remember about
that no?
the class, and we made
Yes.
the method as a procedure and writing scripting into it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
But for that you have to use ABAP perspective in Eclipse. Okay. Rapid data mart.
So would you mind showing me the screen? I'm just getting confused. Just only the screen which you are talking.
This one.
I just wanted to see the screen for this ABAP managed database procedure.
Yeah.
Just only the screen.
This is the one. This is the one. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Rapid marts, that will be solutions provided. Just get it.
Just this. What happened?
Look at this. Someone asked me about RTS now. So rapid data load for Hybris, predictive analytics, HANA accelerate finance, yeah, finance and controlling if you get in. So which is one? ERP profitable analysis accelerator. You just get in. This will start giving some insights and get this out. Okay, this will be zip file. Just download this. Okay, like this you can see all the accelerators, RDS, rapid deployment, which can speed up. For BW on HANA, you'll have some. Out of this, you have some concept of migration of BW to HANA, IQ, NLS, retention, and how do you adapt. You just get into this and then look at this. Yeah. Suit on HANA is like ECC on HANA. You'll have this HANA Live or something. See, there's something called HANA Live. HANA Live reports or HANA Live applications. Will take you to the download where you can download that HANA Live. So this is my HANA Live RDS. Just click on this. That's where you can go through that RDS here. This is the URL. I can just ping through RDS. When it's RDS, Rapid Deployment Solutions, which can basically speed up your implementations. Something about analytics here. So there's some concept called text analytics. HANA also supports text analytics where you can basically process unstructured data. I used to teach it before, but I see no one is really asking on this. So, but if you want some information on this, if you go to YouTube, say SAP HANA text analysis. Okay. If you go to text analysis, you see text analysis, text mining. Now just get this will tell you about full text index and then how do we create manual index and just go through this. That should be enough. Yeah. Okay. Okay. And this is it. If it is profiles, I think Pawan will be sending some profiles to you. Just go. Don't copy the same point. Just go through the profiles, read through, and based on that, formulate your points. I think it should be okay from there. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, if you are implementing BODS, what is the minimum time gap that transaction data to reflect in reporting? Is it 30 minutes you can leverage that one, or is there any time limit is there?
No. We will not see. Even simple loading from BODS, we will not be loading for every 30 minutes. We will not load. No. Generally,
Okay, if you schedule that, okay.
Data warehousing will always say 1 day old always. Yeah. So what are the data we see today is only of reflecting till yesterday's date always. But if there's some exceptional cases, then I can schedule the real-time jobs through SLT or even BODS. If it is IDOCS, I can do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So you mean to say minimum 1 day time gap need to be there if you want to schedule BODS job, right?
Something other, because even if you try to schedule 30 minutes every 30 minutes, it's not one load, right? Because you'll have you'll have very big batch cycle which will run for almost for 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours. So can you schedule this this 10 hours batch cycle 10 hours in every 30 minutes? How will you do? Yeah.
I mean, they want only one particular report.
One particular report you can do always. If depending on data volume, if it is one report,
okay.
Say how much time does it take for the refresh of the data. If it takes 1 hour, then I will say for every 2 hours I can give you a refresh. Yeah, that's how it is. So if the job which refresh that report just takes 5 minutes, I can say every 10 minutes you'll have a refresh date. I can say. Yeah.
I attend one interview. They are asking some of the questions. Can I?
Yeah.
So, first question he is asking, when activating HANA view, BW on HANA is there. When you are activating business contact, it is giving errors. So what is the possible errors we are seeing? Hello.
Sorry. What is it?
You implemented SAP delivered business content on HANA. When you try to activate the business content, activation is failing.
No, first.
So what is the possible reasons?
The business content for BW on HANA or normal HANA?
BW on HANA.
So what I understand from your question is you're saying you've got BW on HANA, you're activating some business content which is supposed to create a HANA view and it's failing up, right?
Yes, exactly, sir.
Basically, when you work on BW on HANA, the major issues you would have is, but generally, if you throw me an error like that, I can't give you a perfect answer. But Go to status.
We need to go to.
First thing
Okay.
you should say, this is the owner, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When you activate a business content in BW, if it has to create a view, this user should have access to those views or to the packages.
Okay.
Okay, so first thing is this user should be given the necessary authorizations which is getting connected to HANA from the BW part. Then when you create a cube, then underlying view can be created in the HANA database using this user, because whenever it is creating HANA models on the activation of the BW cubes, it is created from this user bus. So this user should be given the respect access. Okay, that is one. Okay, there's one more issues also. So when you're installing some business content, it expects, say for example, you're installing advanced DSO, it expects to have some business content in public, like zero pack ID, zero RSOR ID. There's some business content information must be there. Okay.
Okay.
So generally, when you install, you get a error, like you get a dump RS. Sorry, sir, not RS. Sorry, sir. RS4 is for installing business content, but so if you go to ST22, yeah, you get this
SQL trace.
terms in the exception in the security. Generally, you get a dump like this, right? But I don't have those. I don't know where is this dumps, but it raises an exception when you're trying to install some business content, and if it does not find some of the objects what is required, it raises a business content error. Yeah. So then what you do generally is, but I don't know others, but I do this way. See, this is the line of code which is raised in exception, so that would trigger from the below program. So I just get into below program, and we insert a breakpoint here, and then try doing the same operation, and then you will find for which provider the problem is or which object the problem is. Then install those different business objects and then handle that. Okay. So two cases: missing out some dependency business content info objects, or the not proper authorizations for the BW HANA user. Yeah. Okay.
And also possible case is there, schema mapping is also maybe chance, right, sir?
No. Schema mapping, this I have got no dependency. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what are the features are available in, HANA provisioning view and all those things? Once database is there, HANA database only, then those features are available in BW, right, sir? If it is Oracle, those features are not available, right?
Which one?
We have in ODS, if we are creating HANA views, external HANA view option is there, right?
Those all are options only when you have HANA, not others. Yeah.
Okay. So they want to convert BW on HANA. Initially, they need to migrate database. Then they need to plan for flows, right?
Exactly.
Like that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
So 3.x to 7.x, 7.x to remaining flows, right, sir? That is the procedure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll stop it here. Now all the best, boss. And yeah.
Sir.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, by any chance, do you have any kind of recording or presentation or some
Reporting?
kind of document where, not reporting, let me finish my question, sir.
Yeah.
Where you handle, the Hadoop or unstructured data that I was since asking, because we have one project running in our with our client. So where they have implemented Hadoop and they wanted to do some predictive analytics on their applications.
See here.
So
we have this SAP HANA Smart Data Access Hadoop. See these ones. Yeah. All these are relevant to integration of Hadoop and HANA. Yeah. Just go through this video. Just max half an hour, 1 hour. That's all. Okay, boss?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You have that loading of data from loading data into Hadoop, and then you access that through smart data. It gives you from the start how to set up Hadoop, and then how to access it and all those. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
No special configurations. Once you have Hadoop, and then start integrating it through smart data access directly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I asked this question because we have digital signaturing, right? So they are trying to see that in a table and try to do reporting and do some analysis on that. So yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. And even there are some cases where your BODs is also not able to handle the ETL. I don't know I can show you or not, but there in most don't share with everyone, but there are some projects where we are working on. What is see like so we had a requirement of extracting data from these kind of input based forms. Look at this. See, these are like PDFs. So we had even a case to extract data from this. Other day, someone asked me that how to handle this interview. Then I told him about this, about just real app PDF. Then I want to extract data from this PDF and load. And he cleared it and he got the job. So major point, the benefit there was he was not explaining the project as if he was using ECC as a source. He was explaining some non PDF or some non SAP. So then automatically the questioning was only on the concept, not on the real time point. Because he doesn't know my PDF or he doesn't know my non-SAP data, right? I can answer anything what I like in what I have in my mind. So next, the questions are only on the concept. So no matter whether you have experience or not, you will be able to handle those questions. That's the point. That's the key. Okay.
Thank you.
So if you have any doubt, can you reach out to? You can reach out. Yeah, you can always better to send a mail. Yeah, I don't know whether I'll be able to pick your calls, but better send a mail so I'll reply. Okay. Fine, boss. Thank you. And all the best, boss. Okay. Bye. Thank you. అండ్ మీకు జాబ్లు వచ్చినా ఒకసారి ఫోన్ చేసి చెప్పండి మెయిల్ పెట్టండి జాబ్ వచ్చినట్టు ఓకే థ్యాంక్ యూ బాస్